You've seen books like this, right? Titles that promise 100 ways to change your life? Well, today we're going to unpack the philosophy behind one of them, Liz Moody's 100 Ways to Change Your Life. But we're not just going to list the tips, we're going to get into the why and the how behind them. So let's dive in. So, this is the book we're talking about. The author, Liz Moody, is a journalist and she's talked to tons of experts, doctors, scientists, you name it. But what really makes this different is that this whole thing, it was born out of her own personal crisis. Okay, let's just start with a question that it might hit a little close to home for some of you. Do you ever feel like this constant pressure to be well, to optimize every single thing, is actually just making you more stressed? If you're nodding along right now, you are not alone. And that feeling, that's exactly where this whole story kicks off. To really get the philosophy here, we need to start with the author's own journey. It's a classic story of hitting absolute rock bottom and then finding a totally new way to get back up. So Liz Moody's journey started way back in childhood with a lot of anxiety. That kind of spiraled into a tough period after high school, which even included a major health scare. By the time she was in her late 20s, living in London, she was just completely overwhelmed by anxiety and depression. It got so bad she was totally isolated. And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures her lowest point. I mean, imagine having these huge ambitions for your life, but your day-to-day reality is being literally trapped in bed by fear. It was that massive gap between her dreams and her reality that finally forced her to say, okay, something has to change. But here's the thing, that new path, that big change, it didn't start with some grand life-altering decision. Nope, it started with something almost ridiculously small. She didn't suddenly sign up for a marathon or go on some crazy restrictive diet. She was a journalist, right? So her instinct was to start asking questions, to research, to find answers from experts. But the very, very first thing she did, it was even simpler than that. That's it, a smoothie. You might be thinking, a smoothie, really? But think about it. When her entire life felt completely out of her control, making a smoothie was one small, concrete thing she could control. And this right here is the foundation of her entire philosophy. Real, lasting change doesn't start with a leap. It starts with one tiny, manageable step. So that one small step led to another, and then another, and eventually it grew into a whole new way of thinking about personal growth. It's a philosophy that completely rejects that rigid, one-size-fits-all approach to wellness we see everywhere. Let's see how it all comes together. She basically boiled everything she learned down to 3 core principles. It's a really simple but honestly profound framework. Suffer less, do N of 1 experiments, and think holistically. Let's break down what each of these really means. First up, suffer less. This one is a total game changer. The idea is that wellness is supposed to make your life better, not feel like a punishment. If you absolutely hate your workout, guess what? It's not working for you. The goal isn't to grit your teeth and suffer through it. It's to find a healthy habit you actually enjoy. So maybe you ditch the treadmill you dread and try a dance class instead. It's all about adding joy to your life, not more stress. Okay, the second idea is so empowering. It's called the N of 1 experiment. Now, in science, N is just the number of people in a study. So an N of 1 study has a subject size of just 1, and that one person is you. This is all about forgetting the trends and becoming a scientist of your own life. Try things out. Does that super popular diet actually give you energy, or does it make you feel terrible? You have to listen to your own body and collect your own data. And the third principle is to think holistically. It's so simple, but we forget it all the time. It is all connected. Your gut health can totally affect your mood. The quality of your relationships can impact your physical health. You can't just put all your energy into one area and expect everything else to magically fall into place. Real well-being means taking a balanced approach that looks at every part of your life. So that's the philosophy, right? It makes a lot of sense. But how do you actually, do it? Well, the book gives you a whole toolkit to help make these changes actually stick. One of the absolute best tools is a science-backed method called WOOP. It stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, Plan. So you start with your wish, your goal. Then you visualize the best possible outcome. But then, and this is the genius part, you have to identify the number one obstacle that's going to get in your way. And you make a specific if-then plan for it. Like, if I feel too tired to go to the gym after work, then I will change into my workout clothes the second I walk in the door. It's so simple but so effective.
And the toolkit is just packed with other great strategies. Things like really digging deep to figure out your core motivation, your why, or using the fresh start effect of a new Monday or a new month, breaking down huge goals into tiny bite-sized milestones. And one of my favorites, temptation bundling, which is where you pair something you have to do with something you want to do. Like you only let yourself watch your favorite Netflix show while you're on the exercise bike.
Now, for a little bit of balance here, it's important to note that the source material points out that this philosophy isn't a magic wand. This quote reminds us that there are real-world barriers, social, financial, psychological, that can't always be fixed just by shifting your mindset. It's a crucial reminder that everyone's individual circumstances really matter. So after all of that, what's the ultimate message here? It's really about shifting your focus away from just following a bunch of rigid rules and towards starting your own personal journey of discovery. I love this way of thinking about it. This philosophy isn't a strict rule book telling you exactly what to do. It's more like a compass that points you in a direction and a map that shows you some possible routes. But you still have to do the actual exploring. So here's the bottom line, the most important takeaway. There is no single right way to live a better life. The real power comes from realizing that this whole journey is yours to design, yours to experiment with, and, most importantly, yours to enjoy. And that brings us to our final thought. Let's forget about trying to overhaul your entire life by tomorrow. Just based on what we've talked about, what is one small, simple, N of one experiment you could try this week, just to see if it makes your life feel a little bit better?